Alright, I'm going to do a real quick video on how to repair plastic. If you can see here, I got this little crack in this plastic and I'd like to repair it and kind of make it more sturdy. So basically all you need is a soldering iron. You can pull the tip out. It goes in there like that with these Allen set screws. I just take it off. And basically what you're going to do is find yourself a paper clip, and I'm going to straighten it out roughly, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to bend this in a little squiggly pattern to make a little iron that I'm going to singe into there. And so this will take the place of the soldering iron tip, and when I put it in there it'll get really hot and it'll basically melt into the plastic, and then I'll just let it sit in there while it cools off, and that will be its little reinforcing piece. I don't know what you really want to call it, but I guess similar to if you had a broken bone and you had some titanium screws or something put in there to kind of hold everything together. So I'm just using this needle nose. I'm going to go back and forth. Now I've already done the other side, so I'm just going to take a look at it and copy what I did. Looks like I've got one more. And I'll squiggle this guy back and forth. I'll bend this leg up. Now it's a little too wide, so I'm going to condense it down. Kind of squeeze each one of these. I don't want them to touch because then I would kind of make a little short circuit for the heating. I want this thing to heat up evenly so I can embed it once it gets hot. So I'll squeeze them together as much as I can without having them touch, and then I should be in the money. Alright, that's pretty good. Maybe a little more. Okay, a little bit there. Wish these needle noses were a little smaller. Actually, here we go. I got this little pair. There we go. This little guy will get her. Oh, come on. Alright, I think that'll work. Boom, just like that. You know what? I maybe made it a little too small. I want a little bit of plastic to be in between there to kind of give something left for strength. Alright, yeah, I think that's pretty decent there. Then I'm going to, if I put it in like that, I might put it in like this. Alright, yeah, so I'll do that. Just need to set it in enough to get under those set screws. Alright, snug them up. Snug that guy up. Double check. Alright, now I'm going to take this guy, give it a little, kick it off to the side a little bit so I can get in there a little more easily. If I'm going to do that way or that way, I think I'm going to go like this. Alright, now I'm going to go full heat, 140 watts. And takes a few minutes, and then obviously I'm not going to touch that while I do it, but here we go. And this will take about 20-30 seconds to heat up, and then I'll embed it as far as I can. Kind of see it starting to melt the plastic right there. I'm sure there's fancier ways to do this, or more repeatable, but this is pretty quick and easy. You don't have to make something. All right, now I'm going to let it off. I'm just going to let that sit in there. All right. Now I'll just back these out. But yeah, I see lots of guys making fancy tools for this, but if you got a cheap soldering iron, or go to Goodwill, get one, and you can bend a paper clip up and you got something in little to no time. And all you got to do is, you know, fit around with the Allen screws, but it's pretty quick. I mean, I don't want to spend half a day making some fancy tool specifically for this. And I'll just bust these off so there's no metal sticking, protruding back and forth. Now I got that. So on each side you can see I got that little reinforcing paper clip in there. Now this is pretty strong. I can't hardly flex it at all. So now the next thing I want to do is I want to take the plastic that's kind of raised here. I'm going to melt it and push it back down to kind of seal everything back up. So, unfortunately, I already have a tip that kind of works for that. Would be this guy here. And I'll just smooth it out, but you could take like a soldering iron pen like I've got here, take this tip out and literally put a nail in there with the head of the nail sticking out and use that. That's an option, but since I already have one of these flat tips here, I'm just going to use it because I like to do things quickly. And speed is the name of the game. You don't want to spend a bunch of time fiddling around with some cheap little plastic part, and you just want to get it fixed and move on to the next thing. So taking the options I got and using what I got. All right, there we go. Now here we go. Got a heater down. Actually, I'm going to do the high setting. You can start to see it heating up. Smoothing her out. And there we go. Try not to breathe too much of that fumes in. I'm sure it's not healthy for you. All right. Oh, it's probably a paper clip. I feel like a metal rubbing. Yep, all right. Perfect. Let that cool off. I'm just gonna wipe some of this junk off of there so I don't have it left over for next time. There we go. And I'm gonna call this good. Nice. Yeah, there you go, repaired piece. It's pretty sturdy, pretty rigid. Got that metal reinforcing in there. And I'm going to call this guy fixed.